Hey, what's going on, everyone? King here, back for another video. So I have this video, actually it's a combination of two videos of my late grandmother, may she rest in peace, speaking at a meeting, and then the other video is her answering my questions, basically having a conversation talking about Washington James, who's one of the original owners of the heir property. Essentially Washington James is the grandfather to my grandfather. And explaining who are his children, and who is not his children, in front of family. Aunts, uncles, my great aunts, uncles, which are the living siblings of my grandfather, my mother, and my cousins, which are, nieces, a niece or so to my mother, which is the grandchild to my mother. I'm sorry, grandchild to my grandmother. So basically, family members are present when I'm recording these videos. So I want to play these videos for two reasons, and give my reaction, my thoughts on these videos for several reasons. Because, as some of y'all may know, that in my experience in dealing with heir property, try to clear up the title to the property and resolve the legal issues, and deal with family and deal with the management of the property, and try to get things in regards to the property on track. But I've been attacked by a family. I've been called all kind of names other than my name. In some cases, my name has been mentioned along with other derogatory words to attack my character, attack my morality, damage my reputation with family members, making hostile comments, threatening comments, saying that when they see me, they're going to tell me about myself, that I can get their smoke, that I'm not their leader, I'm not their commander-in-chief, attacking my military background, calling me a fraud, saying that I committed forgery, that I committed fraud by fraudulently submitting documents to the court. I'm a liar. I'm selling dead chickens. I'm that of the devil. I'm a dictator. Me and my mother are crazy. I'm crazy and delusional. We don't own this property. This is heir property. Us Jameses did all this stuff. So I'm showing these videos. I want to get to the truth, and to put it out there that I'm done being silent. There's members of my family that I've spoken with over the past year, and especially more so the past few months. And even recently spoken to one of my elderly cousins that knows the truth. But yet, when it comes time to speak up during meetings, are not doing it. Did want to get involved in a legal fight, right? When his or her cousin, right? When my aunt, uncle, and our cousins were sued by people that, their legitimacy to the property, their interest in the property was in question, but yet they joined in a lawsuit as co-plaintiffs against members of my family as defendants, co-defendants in the case, over their transgressions. So again, I'm showing this video to illustrate, to get to the truth. My grandmother's the only one that spoke up at these meetings to tell the truth, to stand up for her rights to property, to stand up for her children, where they didn't do that themselves. And I was there to record and capture it. My grandmother didn't get a chance to testify in court. Well, she could have, but they didn't want her to. But that's for another video. Maybe I'll speak on it after this video. But nonetheless, let's just go ahead and get into the video. So I blurred out the video for a reason. So
If you pay tax and keep them taxes up, they're not going to take this land. I'm 90 years old. I was raised on this land. My grandfather was the president until he got too old. Then he elected James and Willie Nolling. Willie Nolling was the vice president. Jake was the president. And we never had no mess like this on this place since I've been gone. So what you got to do is pay tax. That's all you got to do. And you'll save the land.
Okay. I understand, and I know you've been there a long time. I understand that. I wish it was the same.
And then you got to prove who you is. I got to prove that.
I wish it was the same as it used to be when the people were together. But I must say that
y'all don't know what y'all talking about.
Grandma.
I'm going to stop right there before we get to the other video and talk about the comments that she had made. So again, you heard in the video, she said that she's 90 years old, that she was born on this property, she lived on the property, that her grandfather, right? Her grandfather, being one of the children of Toby Cox. So it means her grandfather, Papa Simon Cox, right, was a president, and he made sure to make sure that Jake, which is my grandmother's husband, right, he's no longer alive, he's deceased, but my grandfather, Jake James Jr., one of the children of Jimmy James, in turn is a child of Washington James, that he was appointed as a president. She knows this stuff. Yet she didn't get a chance to testify. Her children didn't want her to testify. But here she, and this was before the meeting. This was before the hearing in 2018. So this meeting took place on the property on September 1st of 2018. Essentially 2 months before we had the quiet title action hearing in November of 2018. And you heard me mention it before if you watch all the videos. I told a story about it. It's not really a story, but I gave the timeline of events that took place leading up to the hearing. And here it is. My grandmother spoke, and I was there to record it in front of other family members, cousins, my uncle, my grandmother, and other people who claim to be interested in the property, but yet they didn't want to get involved. And then one of the individuals that you heard responding to my grandmother's statement, she was a co-defendant in the case. She was being sued over her transgressions. And the court told them that y'all need to quiet the title before the court can make a ruling on these complaints and everything else. But and at one point she agreed, her and others agreed that this needs to be done. But now the change of a different tune. I pushed it back on my grandmother's statement. If my grandma doesn't have a right to stand up and speak and say things, what gives anybody else the right? Why is their statements more powerful, more meaningful than my own grandmother's at 90 years? She is the granddaughter of Simon Cox. She's one of the grandchildren of Simon Cox. She is one of the great-great-grandchildren of Toby Cox, who married my grandfather, James, who was a grandson of Washington James. And we can trace our lineage. I mean, there's documentation. You've seen it. I showed it to you in the videos, other videos discussing my lineage. Because I was challenged that I cannot prove that I'm a true heir to the estate. That me and my family, that I'm an idiot. I'm being idiotic. I'm being foolish. I'm being all these things, but I digress. It's all right here. So, carry on to the second video.
Yeah, my grandfather said Washington James had those children. They was all in Samuel, in their mother name. He took my grandfather and he said and changed all of them names to James. So they could get his land what he had both, because he didn't have nobody else to get it but them.
So who was your grandfather?
Sam Cox.
So Sim Cox and Washington James put all of his Washington James' children's name in James.
Yeah.
Was Joshua Samuels one of his children?
Nope.
How do you know this?
Because they didn't put his name in James.
Was that Martha Samuel's firstborn son?
Yes, that was her first home.
So before Washington James met Martha Samuels or started having children, she already gave birth to Joshua Samuels.
That's right.
Do you know the father of Josh Samuels?
No, I don't. Laura and Tim were sisters and brothers.
Can you say that one more time, Grandma?
I said, Tim, Laura, and Martha were sisters and brothers. And they bought him, and Laura bought land. Martha didn't buy no land.
So she had the man and she thought she didn't need no.
So how are they related?
The same way y'all related to his
Yeah,
aunt.
we're cousins. We're cousins.
Tim, that's his name. Tim married my grandfather's sister.
Listen what she's saying.
And they had 4 children. They had Mary, Kim, Matt, Kim, and Mary.
Well, Mama, though, still ain't telling me how, when we talking about them, I didn't get into the
Because I was telling you who Tim children was. He didn't have but 4 children. 3 boys and 1 girl.
That's Martha's brother.
Yeah,
They on the deed.
they on the
That's
deed,
why
so they
she
know
was
the
saying
land.
she could still get in there, but you can't go into them because they got their own family.
So that's the end of the video. And you heard what my grandmother was saying. Again, this is in front of her children, my aunts, uncles, also the living brothers and sisters of my grandfather, right? So my grand aunts, uncles, and my mother was present, to include the aunt, uncle, all right, the siblings to my mother, the brother and sister to my mother were present. They were present. And we're all co-plaintiffs. It was me, my grandmother, my mother, her son, my uncle, her daughter, my aunt. So 3 of her children, my grandmother and me included, the 5 of us as plaintiffs, as co-plaintiffs in this case, acquired a title. Now this is essentially a week or so or days after we had the quiet auction hearing in 2018. And the living siblings, my grand aunts, uncles, came down to visit their sister, who lived right next door to my grandmother. My grandfather's sister, baby sister. And so we sit around the table having this conversation, talking. And I asked the question. Again, my grandmother wasn't allowed. Her son, her children didn't want her to testify, excluding my mother. My mother wanted her to testify, but she did not testify. She's not getting to stand and testify to what she knows or knew, because she's no longer with us. She's deceased, about Washington James and the property. You heard her talk in the first video, but people blew her off, brushed her off, like her comments didn't matter. She had a plethora of information, but yet was not able to testify in court during a quiet action hearing. Like, this is in front of family. The same family members who called me a liar, who said that I'm selling dead chickens. That turned my cousins and everyone against me and my mother. Called my mother a liar in front of family during meetings. Called me a liar and threatened to sue me during meetings. But here it is. If I'm a liar, if I'm crazy and delusional, If I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm bitter and petty. I don't know what I'm talking about. That when they see me, they're going to tell me about myself. I'm going to get the smoke. Have that same energy. Where's the same energy and attitude about my grandmother? About their grandmother? Their mother? Their aunt? They're not doing it. But they want to sit there and spread false information, lies about me, saying that I had no business doing this. That I tried to steal this property. I'm trying to sell a property. I want to build my own generational wealth. What are you talking about? It's already in complaint that the purpose was to preserve and protect the property, was to acquire the title. It's already in complaint. And the two lawsuits, the lawsuits that I filed in 2017 against individuals that claim to be heirs to Washington James. They claim to have an interest in the property by Joshua Samuel. And in this lawsuit that right now is pending, it's in complaint. Again, this is about the truth. The truth needs to come out. I fought for this property. I fought for my family. I fought to preserve and protect it. Not to steal, not to lie, not to cheat, not to be verbally attacked and defamed by family, all because of the rules and law, of the lies that are being told. Well, that's in a nutshell. I just wanted to share these videos and get it out there. Yeah, but thanks for watching, and like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment, and see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.